You're still fresh, but you need to put
I almost like you better when you didn't talk.
You took
Shut
some
up.
shots, kid.
Shut up.
Be competitive.
Please shut up. What's up, everybody? PR and VR, and holy moly, what a difference it makes when you put time and dedication into a single player campaign. Now, if you've watched any of my previous boxing videos covering any other boxing game, you already know how I feel about Thrill of Fight 2. And I have to honestly say, them releasing the single player campaign finally, a year after the game released, I didn't go into this with high expectations, I gotta admit. But praise God, I was pleasantly surprised. So probably one of the very first thing I want to talk about is fight mechanics. The original Thrill of the Fight already had some pretty amazing fight mechanics. It was built from the ground up with boxing in mind. And you found yourself having to open up the opponent, etc. But the thing was, is there wasn't a lot of moving around. And your opponent really didn't try to dodge too much. Like, they did dodge, but they didn't move their whole body around. Thrill of the Fight 2 takes it to a whole new level, where now you're actually utilizing the whole ring. There's been plenty of times I found myself having to try to cut off the ring from my opponent by moving a certain way. I'm trying to corner him, you name it. And then there's just times that we're going around and around in circles and we're just throwing punches. Now, I got my butt kicked in this game. I won like one round. That was the first round, the first match. The rest of them, I've just been getting annihilated. And I don't even have a complaint against that. Honestly, I love the fact that I'm the underdog in this game. I don't personally need a game to give me a bunch of wins to make me feel special or unique or anything like that. The fact that I was getting annihilated, like, I think I had like 6 matches, and the fact that I was getting annihilated in 5 out of those 6 matches makes me realize how out of shape I am. It makes me realize how much I need to work on my technique. It makes me realize that this is a whole new ball game, and I'm absolutely here for it. In fact, probably for a good duration of this video, you're going to see my MyZone app up in the corner. I wanted to show you just how much of a workout I got just from playing this game. This is one match, by the way. So in addition to your AI opponent moving around a lot, I love the fact that they are actually taking advantage of your openings, way more so than the last game. If you're leaving an area exposed, the AI will absolutely go after it. Your opponent will absolutely go after it. Also, they utilize the ring very well. They know how to cut you off. They know how to try to corner you in the ring. Like, there's a lot of times I've gone round and round in circles. There's a lot of times when I'm getting pummeled, I find myself on the defense. I'm double backing, you name it. I really, really, truly enjoyed this game, this campaign. And I'm about to go on a little bit of a rant, but this is my point, guys. This is what I've been saying in other videos, that the single-player campaign needs to be the major focus of a lot of these boxing games, from this to Underdogs, you name it. And the reason why is because you can put out something amazing that will keep people coming back, right? Versus having a multiplayer experience that takes so much resource, it takes so much time. And if you go look currently at Thrill of the Fight's ratings, they're kind of in the dumpster. Now, that might have changed since the release of the single-player campaign, but they've been in the dumpster mostly because of the multiplayer experience, which makes anyone who's looking at this game probably not all that interested if they don't see a video on it, if they don't see how good the single-player campaign is. It's kind of ruined its reputation in a small sense that it has to climb back up from. And I absolutely believe it will, especially with how this campaign is. Now, I do have my own personal gripes against the campaign, such as I don't like the fact that the AI opponent gets so close to you that when you go in for body shots or whatever, they're basically on top of you, and then the ref has to break it up. I don't think it affects your point systems. I'm not positive. I'm not savvy on that. But it does suck to have to reset every few minutes because your AI opponent's so aggressive that he's right on top of you. Now, the other thing I'm so about is the fact that your opponent doesn't seem to get tired. And if you're working the body a lot, I'd imagine you would probably begin to see them slow down a little bit. You don't really see that, or I haven't. It could also be that I'm just not that good, and again, I'm out of shape. If you're looking at the MyZone app, I've already burned 40 calories, and my heart rate's at 88%, 171 beats per minute, and rising. Like, it was a workout. So training in this game is pretty interesting. You have offensive, defensive, and sparring. Offensive will give you a couple of points in power, defensive a couple of points in resistance, and sparring splits the points between both. The game does offer real-world technique examples, so you have, I'm not actually sure who this boxer is. Someone else out there knows. Feel free to leave it in the comment section. But you actually have real techniques. They teach you real techniques in the game. And even your coach, Coach Berg, he's actually giving you real sound advice from the corner. Like, he's actually worth listening to. Now, there is a lot more that I would have loved to see come out of the training instead of just sparring or trying to survive for 30 seconds without getting knocked out, or just hitting the body bag and following whatever techniques Coach Berg is calling out. They're great because they'll teach you combinations, but there's so many other things out there you can do. There's mitts, there's the speed bag. There's so many other things I would have loved to see them introduce and how those would have affected your stats. And maybe it's something they'll release in the future. I personally hope they do. I think it would be worth it. So I feel like that's a missed opportunity. The other thing is I would have loved to have seen a damage system. So when you're knocking this guy around, if you're actually winning the fight, they look like they're about to drop a deuce on themselves with the face that they make. But that's about it. That's your only tell as to whether or not you're actually hurting this guy. Whereas, you know, the original Thrill of the Fight, you had a damage system. So I knew if I was working the eye, it was making it harder for them to see. It would be cool to see that in here. In addition to that, you know, if you are working the eyes, if you are working the ribs, you kind of tend to see the opponent kind of protect it more. I think that was something that was in the original Thrill of the Fight, where if you were working the body a lot and you start to kind of see their ribs bruising up a little bit, you would notice that they would tend to kind of keep their hands down to protect their ribs more, because it became a really sensitive area. So that's something I'd definitely love to see them do with this game. And speaking of Coach Berg, he got a major upgrade. So he went from looking like an old-timer in a pair of sweatpants, sorry buddy, to our new and improved lean, mean fighting machine, who's got over 2,000 phrases. And again, he feels like a legitimate coach now. Instead of just being on the sidelines clapping, he actually is giving you advice. He's telling you what he sees in the fight. And you know, some of the phrases you'll hear over and over again, but some of it is really, really sound advice. So currently the game is sitting at $20 US on the MetaQuest store. I believe originally it was $10. I'm assuming that now it's $20 because they released a single player campaign. I don't entirely know how I feel about that. I guess it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's only $10 more. And the campaign itself feels pretty good. So while multiplayer leaves a lot to be desired, in my personal opinion, and there's a lot of there's so many different things that they're going to have to address with multiplayer before it's a real solid fighting experience. I have to absolutely say that the campaign mode or career mode has felt amazing. And again, I've been the underdog the entire time. I've been losing pretty much all my fights, and it doesn't actually bother me. It actually makes me want to improve. It actually makes me want to do better. I love slapping my MyZone app on and burning calories and just burning practically 1,000 calories within an hour of play, and waking up the next day feeling like I need ibuprofen. Thrill of the Fight 2 feels like the successor that we have been longing for, that fans of the original have been longing for. That's going to about wrap up this video, guys. If you like what I'm doing, please like, share, subscribe. If you know someone who might be interested in a good boxing game, I actually would recommend Thrill of the Fight 2 now. I do think they have paved their way back to the top, in my opinion, of boxing games. This has definitely been worth the money spent now. And it's taken them a year, but I mean, better late than never. And honestly, I love the experience. And if there's anything else that any other boxing games can glean from Thrill of the Fight 2, it's focus on your single player campaign. It's what a lot of us came here for. Multiplayer is amazing. I know that there's a crowd for that. I know people like that. I think it's cool. I think it's something that will be unique and fun to do down the road. But we all need a solid experience first, and I think they're definitely delivering with this one. Again, I do hope that they add damage and they add other factors into the game that I mentioned earlier in the video. But otherwise, all in all, I would actually say this game is basically a 5-star game, with the exception of multiplayer. But that's neither here nor there. All right, guys, peace out and God bless.